Hey everyone, glad to see you. It's probably my last video lecture for 130199. Glad to see everybody here. Looking forward to seeing you all next Tuesday as well. Well, what we've done so far, we've been working on your essay where you're going to try and convince me of one of your media choices. We looked at how to make a decent paragraph where each sentence supports the controlling idea of that paragraph, either by supporting the sentence before it or supporting the first sentence, and how we have a wrap-up sentence at the end of each paragraph. We also looked how to take three paragraphs and use them kind of as the meat in a sandwich, whereas the bread is the introduction at the top and the conclusion at the bottom. So we learned how to do that. So essentially you've learned how to put together 5 paragraphs, and last class we also looked at how we can we can also look at and see if a source is reliable or not. Now, again, sources are reliable, especially if you're going to the internet. You've got to really pick and choose, and there's some things that are kind of giveaways. Number one, if it's a very old source. If I am looking at an issue like global warming, okay, or global cooling, or climate change, or whatever they're trying to call it this week. I joke because they've changed it multiple times since I was a kid back in the 70s. Anyway, if you're looking at one of those issues, for example, an article written in 1977, when a lot of us were told that the Earth was going to be destroyed by a new ice age, that might not really be applicable to global warming rather, today. So, say by the time we got to the 80s and the 90s, we were told that global warming would instead be something that we should be worried about. So take a look at the age also in simple terms. Oftentimes what you hear might be outdated. So new discoveries take place. People find out when things are no longer valid. So if you're finding information, especially if it's on the internet, check how old it is. If it doesn't have an age, look and see how reliable or unreliable the speaker is. Is this person who's writing this web page, are they visibly an authority on their subject? Okay. For example, I have 2 master's degrees in English and in education, and I'm also a 30-year teacher of English and of a number of other disciplines as well. Like, as most of them were at the middle school level, like science and history and so forth. So those are areas where I might have a certain degree of expertise. But if you came to me and asked me exactly how cellular mitosis takes place, I'd have to look it up in a textbook, okay? Because I am not an authority on questions relating to science. So, number 1, check the dates of your sources. Number 2, check who's writing the stuff. Are they actually folks who are experts in their field? Okay. Third, just check out the website and see if it's professional. Okay. If it looks really tacky, if it's got a ton of spelling errors and grammar errors, perhaps this is not a source you want to quote in a paper. Could a person write and make a web page with all kinds of information? Sure you can. Welcome to America. No problem. So long as you're not saying false things about me or my family or anyone I care about, I don't care what you put on the internet, really. Okay? However, if you are going to quote somebody and use them as an authority in your paper with me or any other teacher, you got to check and make sure that they're the authority, the website's not too old, and that it looks professional, that it actually has something. Remember, too, the little .com, that stands for, if I'm not mistaken, commercial. The people who are making a .com website, they are interested in making money. So that isn't a bad thing, of course. Again, welcome to America. But you want to make sure that this is a group, this is a website designer who will not allow their desire to make money get in the way of presenting what is true and reliable as a source. Okay? If it's .gov, then it's the government. Okay? And if it's .edu, well, then it is an educational site. But again, various educational outlets will probably have their own biases. Okay? Does that make sense? A private school affiliated with a religious denomination is probably not going to have information that might seem bad or make their particular religion look bad. So they might be perceived as a bias there. Okay? Likewise, an educational outlet where that is reporting on their students misbehaving, maybe or maybe not, they might be reliable or unreliable there. Okay, so just be aware of who they are and what their potential biases may be when you look at a source. Now, the main thing we're going to be looking at when we come back on Tuesday, the main thing we're going to be looking at is how you cite a source. Okay? The simplest answer is to get your web page, click. If it's a reliable web page, then you copy that URL, the website address, and you put it into a website I'll show you called bibliography.com. That'll show you the best way to cite a source, so that anybody who says, wait a second, this person is saying that there's 7 billion people in the world, that sounds really high. Or no, I think there's 20 billion. Let's look at their sources. We can go from there. Okay, so when you do your final paper for me, you're going to fire off your rough draft. Okay, after we meet on Tuesday and I show you how to get a source. I will shoot it back to you by the following week, and then you'll shoot me your good copy, and that will be counted as your final exam, and you will be done with 1301.99. Sound good? All right, folks, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. You all take care, and looking forward to being there. Bye-bye.